Howdy, and welcome to this bonus episode of Wise About Texas. I'm your host, Ken Wise. Thank you for joining well over 1 million of your fellow Earth dwellers all over the world listening to this podcast. I appreciate it, and I appreciate your interest in Texas history. This bonus episode celebrates the 200-year anniversary, the Bicentennial of the Texas Rangers. And what this episode consists of is an interview with two individuals, Russell Molina, who is chairman of the Texas Ranger Bicentennial Celebrations, and Lacy Finley, the executive director of the Texas Ranger Association Foundation. They are hosting events all over the state throughout the rest of 2023, and I talked to them about why they're doing what they're doing, what the events consist of, and how you can get involved in celebrating the Texas Ranger Bicentennial. And I will tell you, there are a couple of surprise and very important announcements in this podcast. So give it a listen and join me and millions of Texans in celebrating the Texas Ranger Bicentennial. Here's the interview. Russell, Lacy, welcome to Wise About Texas. Thanks so much for being with us today.
Appreciate you having us.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, this will be a lot of fun. Well, it's very exciting. The Bicentennial of the Texas Rangers, founded in 1823. It's remarkable for Texas to have anything that's 200 years old, and the Rangers are leading the way. What an interesting organization in Texas history. Tell everybody, and whomever wants to start can start, how you came to be involved with the Rangers and kind of what your role is. Lacy, you want to start?
Absolutely. So I was Tom Sawyered into it. I was cajoled and tricked into it about 8 years ago, working on different projects. And that's kind of how I came into working for the Rangers. But all joking aside, it was a blessing to be asked to work on a project with the Rangers. And it was so much fun. And we did really well. And it kind of set the tone for what we could accomplish working together as a team. And that, I guess maybe even longer than 8 years ago now. And that project work really turned into a full-time job. I came on full-time in 2020. Really didn't have any intentions of going full-time, but Russell had this big idea for putting together a bicentennial for the Texas Rangers. And I absolutely could not pass that up. It was so important to me to help the Rangers, but also be a part of Texas history. I felt like there's not another time that we're going to be able to do this, and I wanted it to be a part of it, and I wanted to do it right. So I really appreciate Russell for bringing me in on the project, as it has led to, it's a lot of work and it's a lot of stress, but the happiness that we've brought to people and to our Rangers and their families is all worth it.
Yeah, it's been remarkable.
And I would add to that, not only from the modern and what's going on now, but from a historical perspective, we got the history right. And to know that Lacy, who also very much about Texas history, has been able to see this come to fruition, and the importance of it has been significant. And just to give a quick background on me, I've been involved for 20 years with the Texas Ranger Association Foundation, and really started working on the Bicentennial itself about 7 years ago. And as Lacy mentioned, kind of roped her in on, hey, I got this idea. And here we are during the 200-year bicentennial year with activities and events all across the state. So really couldn't be happier.
Yeah, it's been great so far. Tell everyone, just to give everybody a flavor of what's going on this year. Talk a little bit, Russell, if you will, about the kickoff at Fort Worth.
Well, so we had our official kickoff of the Bicentennial at the Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo, where the entire 3 weeks of their show was wrapped around the Ranger Bicentennial. Lacy and her team had put together an exhibit in the exhibit hall, a booth, and we had merchandise there. But we also had a suite at the actual Dickies Arena during the rodeo events, and we had over 700 family members and Rangers, retired, active, come through, as well as we had the ability to touch really hundreds of thousands of people on the grounds. And Lacy can speak a lot more to what she did all over the grounds of the Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo, but that became our kickoff. And President Bush, being our lead state host, there was a video that played there every night where we really created this momentum and I think got exposure in a way that we couldn't have done otherwise. So we're very grateful to the Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo. And it really then set that tone where now we have different things that we're doing again all over the state, but it has been something where we point back to this is how we started, this was our kickoff, and now we're going to continue that as we go around the state.
And I can add a little color to that as well, because I will say that Mr. Barnes, the president of the Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo, and Mr. Carter, they really made us raise the bar. We didn't really know exactly what we were going to be doing for our kickoff. And Mr. Barnes came along and said that, they wanted to be the kickoff, which is great. And then you get to talking about all of the possibilities, and we wound up doing 12 different exhibits on the stock show grounds. And you don't know what you can do until you kind of get in the middle of it. And kind of the way Russell and I work is 99% of the time we're going to say yes. Even if we don't know how to do it, we're going to figure out how to do it, and we're going to just keep raising that bar. And that's what Mr. Barnes wanted from us. He wanted us to raise the bar and make it not just honoring the stock show, but really honoring the Rangers and making a splash. And that's what we did. And the cool thing is we still have exhibits that are from the stock show and rodeo that are still up in Fort Worth. We have some exhibits on the alleyway there. We have an exhibit at the Fort Worth History and Science Museum. And all of that was brought about because of this vision that Mr. Barnes kind of instilled in us, that we could do something grand and big.
Well, you definitely did it. I was privileged enough to be part of it for a brief time, and it was just an amazing fun. Everybody kind of coming together on the same team, really expressing their appreciation for such a significant group of men and women was really wonderful. Before we talk about the rest of the events that are going on, because I really want everyone who listens to this episode to know how to get involved the rest of the year, I want to ask you, each of you, why you do it. What is it about the Texas Rangers that's so important to each of you?
Well, I'll take it to go first on this one. The reason why, it really goes back to 1976, when I, as a kid, remember the Bicentennial for the United States, and just the pennies going to the Statue of Liberty, the quarters for every state, and the parade that 4th of July, how proud you were to be an American. And it just hit me. We need to do something like that for the men and women of the Texas Rangers who are out there protecting the citizens of this great state every day. And they've been doing it for 200 years. That's a big deal. So that's kind of how I started just thinking about, we got to do something. And it really, I was motivated from what I saw as a child.
That's great. Lacy, why do you do this?
I think a big reason why I do this is it is so easy to be of service to people that are of service themselves. I don't think people really realize what the Rangers do, or maybe they haven't ever met a Ranger, and they don't really realize that, they're human beings. And yes, they have this incredible job, and they are the top-notch investigators in North America, I'll say in the world, because I can. They have these incredible skill sets, but they're also human beings, and they have families, and they have spouses, and they miss baseball games, and they miss holidays, and they're just of service all the time. They sacrifice so much every single day. And so to be able to be a part of that group of people that are, first of all, outstanding, but to give something back to them, that's, I can't solve a murder, I can't solve a crime, but I can do a fundraiser. I can make sure that their kids have scholarship money. I can do those little things. And it makes me very proud to be able to be a part of that community and know that we're supporting them and that we have their back when they need us.
Well, and those are important comments, especially we're recording and releasing this on May 17th, which is the middle of National Police Week 2023, where all of us as Americans come together to honor our men and women in blue. So those are great comments. Russell, did you want to say something?
Well, I just wanted to also keep in mind the Rangers are not ones that want a spotlight on them, and they won't ask for things. And Lacy has just been so terrific in regards to really providing things without them having to ask, but also knowing that they're not going to. There's times when they have financial needs outside of their job aspect of things, and Lacy and Traff step in and provide support. And again, they're not used to that spotlight. So this bicentennial year certainly has made that a little bit different and uncomfortable for some of them, quite honestly. But, it's something to be able to support them, to give back to them, is something that I think is very rewarding for not only myself, and I know Lacy and her team as well.
Absolutely. Well said. Well, tell us a little bit about, I happen to know we have a mobile museum and some other significant sort of assets related to this bicentennial celebration. Can y'all talk a little bit about those things?
Lacy, you want to take that?
Absolutely. The projects that we're working on are so exciting. And again, getting to be a part of them and make a mark on Texas history is an unbelievable feeling. And I'm very proud of the projects that we have put together, and especially our DPS Peace Officers Memorial. That was something that has been in the works for a number of years. And it was a beautiful thought, and then it kind of got shelved for a while. And then we were able to pick it back up with the bicentennial, and now we're going to have a brand new memorial at DPS headquarters. And we've already broken ground. It is going to be like something that you would see on the mall in Washington, D.C., a true destination, a true memorial to the memories of men and women that have given the ultimate sacrifice, lost their lives in the line of duty. Not to mention, the new memorial is going to have 124 Texas Ranger names that were never on the original memorial. And that, to me, is legacy building. And it makes me very proud, all of us that have worked on that project. It is something that I will be very proud to take my kids, my grandkids, to go and see in future years.
And then the mobile museum piece, which is such an essential part of having the history memorialized in regards to the Rangers. But again, not only the history of the Rangers, it's the history of Texas. And the idea is to have a tractor trailer 53 foot long with side pop outs that would equate to 1,200 square foot of exhibit space to go to schools, rodeos, livestock shows, sporting events, businesses all over the state. And to be able to create this opportunity for people to come in, start in 1823 and walk through there and come out on the other end into the modern era. So not only is it an educational piece from a historical perspective, but it also about the modern Ranger, who they are, what they do, and why they're important. And as Lacy alluded to just a minute ago in regards to the rural areas of Texas, where they're the lead investigators. They're the ones that come in and secure the crime scene. They're the ones that go and really do that investigation because they have the expertise that's there. And a lot of people don't realize what they're doing today and the importance of their job today.
Well, those are both very, very exciting things. I want to talk for a couple of minutes, and everybody that's listening to this, get your pens out and write these things down. Let's talk about the events and the ways that citizens can be involved in celebrating this bicentennial. And I'll just throw it out to both of y'all and tell us all about what's coming up.
I'll probably take this one because I can. I live and breathe it every second of my waking life, it seems like. But we have, we started off with kind of one event. Russell and I were like, what are we going to do? Okay, we just put one thing on the calendar. And that one thing really bloomed into a whole calendar year worth of events, which is so exciting. And we're constantly adding to that list. I jokingly say that I've been on the road for 65 days this year, but it's really not a joke. We literally have been on the road that much this year with our tour of Texas. But what we have coming up next, which is what we're furiously working on, is we have our Texas Ranger Bicentennial Barbecue Cook-Off, and that's in Waco, Texas on June 1st and 2nd. And we still have teams available, team spots. It's a competition, a very cool trophy to be had that was custom made by our retired chief, Hank Whitman. It is a one of a kind, and the bragging rights are going to be stellar for our barbecue cook-off. We have live entertainment with our barbecue cook-off. We've got Gabe Garcia on June 1st in the evening, and we have the Ray Johnston Band on Friday, June 2nd. Those are open to the public, and it's festival seating. And that is on our website, texasranger2023.org/BBQ. So texasranger2023.org/BBQ. And then that really bumps us into our Ranger reunion weekend, which is June 2nd and June 3rd. And our guest speaker, who I'm very excited about having, is Judge Ken Wise.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be a tremendous honor.
It is. We're very excited, Judge, to have you there. You have a lot of fans that listen to your podcast that come to our reunion. And it's not just our Ranger reunion this year, but we're also adding in, for the first time in 25 years, it's the Texas Ranger Hall of Fame induction ceremony. So, I mean, consider that. We have not inducted any Rangers into the Hall of Fame in 25 years. And this year, we have 4 inductees. It's the first time we have living retired Rangers that will be inducted. And that is Ranger Johnny Aycock and Ranger John Martin. So also Captain Pete Rogers and Colonel Homer Garrison. Of course, those are both deceased, but we're honoring them in this induction ceremony at the reunion. And I'm going to tell you right now, I mean, we are full on mode of getting this prepared. We're raising the bar. We want everyone that comes to this to be thrilled. We want them to be educated. We want them to get to know Rangers and retired Rangers. I mean, it's just going to be kind of a phenomenal event. And outside of the induction ceremony, we also have more live music. We are very much about our music. We've got Jody Nix playing on Saturday night
fun.
at the Ranger. Yeah, we're very excited. We love Jody Nix. Want to fill up that dance floor with Jody Nix. And then we have some special surprises that we haven't really released yet, but I'll tell you. We are going to debut a song that was written by Rod Williams and sung by Gunnar Latham. And they're going to debut this Ranger song on Saturday night of the Ranger reunion. So we have all kinds of great little, kind of Easter eggs for you, for the public to come out and go to the Ranger reunion. Normally we do not, it's members only come to our Ranger reunion. But this year is a little bit different. It's an exception. It's a bicentennial. So if you need to purchase a ticket, you can go to our TRAF website. That's traf.org. And let me know that you need a ticket, and y'all can come on out to that.
You know, Lacy, let me just jump in on a key piece. So this is the 43rd annual Ranger reunion? Or
42nd.
42nd. Okay. So I just want your listeners to know, Judge, that this is the 42nd annual Ranger reunion in Waco that we have been doing in June, where the real keep in mind that you're bringing retired Rangers with new young Rangers. And we actually have it where they meet just Ranger on Ranger. And they have a conversation and be able to have that opportunity to talk to those who have already been a Ranger. Because there's a lot of times that these men and women, can't open up to certain folks because, again, they're very much elite and in a class of their own. And this gives them an opportunity to be able to have that opportunity. So it really is an important thing that we've been doing for 42 years, and we will continue well beyond the bicentennial.
Well, that's going to be a great event. What else is coming
really
up, Lacy?
So after the Ranger reunion, pretty much every 3 weeks, we've got an event until the end of the year. After the Ranger reunion, we have a fishing tournament down in Corpus Christi, Texas on July 7th and 8th. And then at the end of July, we've got our Company C Bicentennial Week up in Lubbock, which is really shaping up to be an amazing several days up in Lubbock. The city of Lubbock has been so welcoming. We're putting together some really amazing events. We've got our Community and DPS Day, we have our Gala Day, and we have a Sporting Clay Tournament. And again, all of these things can be found on the texasranger2023.org website, where we have our calendar. But Company C will be late July. And then in August, we're back down in San Antonio for Company F Bicentennial Week. And I will add, Company F is going to have for our entertainment the Ace and the Hole Band.
Yes.
Let that sink in for a minute.
Yes, absolutely.
Tickets go on sale soon. So that's August. September is a very, very busy month. We're going to be back up in Company B, which is Dallas-Fort Worth area. And the entire week is going to be between the Stockyards and Fort Worth. We'll be in Arlington. We'll be in Dallas. And we have a whole series of events. We have parades and parties and a gala and a sporting clay tournament. And I mean, you name it, we have a ton of stuff going on. One of our biggest draws, and that we're very, very excited about, September 23rd, we'll be at Billy Bob's, and we have booked Lainey Wilson. So that's going to be, it's going to be a huge show. We're super excited. And again, tickets will go on sale soon for that.
And Lainey Wilson, if I'm not mistaken, Lacy, not only was she on Yellowstone, but didn't she just win a couple of big awards?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
She's been on fire.
Female vocalist, country, and then also something. Anyway, so she
just won 4 awards at the ACMs, and I mean, she's been winning awards all year, and so we're absolutely thrilled that we have booked her. It's going to be a really special evening, and we also are throwing in some more surprises for that night as well, but I can't tell you just yet.
All right.
And
won't ask.
And then just to wrap it up, though, we got Company D.
In
which
October.
Is in McAllen, is in October 18th to the 21st. And then we bring it all together in our grand finale in Austin in November 17th and 18th, which is going to be another very, very special event. But I did want to just tease one thing if I could. So I would think that a lot of your listeners remember the statue that was in Dallas Love Field that was taken down in May of 2020. Well, I'll tell you here on your podcast as this starts to roll out, and I know you've heard me say this just the other day, but we really have not put it out there in a big way. But that statue is going to be going back up, not at Dallas Love Field, someplace else. We're going to keep that close to our vest at the moment. But I just want your listeners to know that there's going to be an actual Ranger statue that was taken down, going back up, and you just don't hear about that.
Well, that's so important. And I've said it on this podcast before, the people that want to tear down things are just not going the right direction. We need more history, not less. And that's great news, Russell. Thanks for sharing that. I'm very excited, and I'll try to get the information out of you off the air. But that's wonderful news. So we'll definitely stay tuned for that. Let me just say, this is a remarkable slate of events, and there's an opportunity for everybody listening to this podcast to be involved in some way, to attend something. Just thank y'all so much for what you do for the Texas Rangers. It's really amazing how this bicentennial is being so thoroughly celebrated. It's well-deserved for the state. It's well-deserved for the Rangers. And I think on behalf of all Texans, I thank you for everything that you're doing for the Texas Rangers. And I'd love for y'all to sign off this special bonus episode however you'd like to.
Well, I'll sign off by keep in mind 13 years later, it's going to be Texas bicentennial. So come be part of this bicentennial, because there's many more to come, and it's important we get it right and we get the history right, full context.
And I will just say that it is a pleasure and an honor to work with these men and women of the Texas Rangers. It really makes my heart absolutely full when I get to see them enjoy something that we put together for them. It makes tears come to my eyes when I see their children and they're happy and they get to be, honored to see what their mom or dad does for a living, and they get that respect and love. And I don't think I've loved a group of people anymore in my entire life outside of my own family. And they are my family, and I'm so very proud to be able to put these things together for them.
Well, and I'll say it again, the entire state is grateful for your efforts and all the volunteers that help you. And it's just such a wonderful thing for Texas. So thank you all very much for being, Lacy, why don't you give those websites that everyone needs to check right now give those websites again so everybody can find out where the events are nearest them.
So it's really easy to remember, TexasRanger2023.org, and that's all spelled out. Texas, TEXAS, Ranger2023.org.
And they can find out where the events are and how to get involved, and they can sign up, and it'll be great. So thank you all
Yes, sir.
again very much for being a part of this bonus episode. And thanks again for all you're doing for the Rangers and for the state of Texas.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.